What's up, y'all? It's your boy Dreco, and I'm here with the Jam Company.
So, what's your story?
My story is really just, if I can put it in one sentence, it's like the the man on many waves, like that got lost, but just like found himself in the midst of all that. Coming from like a small but big place in Boston, you get a lot of really different aspects out of the areas like Roxbury, Mattapan, Dorchester, and like I got to be able to grow up in like every surrounding area basically. Well, the three main ones: Dorchester, Roxbury, and Mattapan, but like predominantly Roxbury. So like you'll probably see a lot more of that side from me, and that's really all I can explain it as. Like I'm a man of like many different things, and I like to put it in the concept of waves because waves come in many different forms. Like there's swells, there's regular waves, and then there's rogues, like bigger waves. So like low tides, high tides, like I feel like that's just a natural flow of life. You just got to go with the flow of things. So that's what I'm all about, going with the flow of whatever life throws at me and continuing the story from there, really.
Okay. I feel like you're like really into like energy and like
Definitely.
spirituality. Would you say?
Definitely.
Okay.
And I just started building that up, honestly. Like I was telling you before, I was going through some things with like school and like personal life, and like I was just really learning a lot. Like what I can really mark it down as, if I can tell you the specifics time where like my thinking spiritually and like energy wise really started to shift, it was when Kendrick dropped Damn. Cause one of my boys really interpreted that album in a way where he understood like basically everything Kendrick was saying. And then that led to us having conversations and me listening to Damn and just looking at the things going around
Yeah.
and like reading different things up at school or just like hearing different things in the community and just really piecing the puzzle, putting the pieces to the puzzle together and really realizing like, okay, like I never really questioned God. Like I always believed that there's a higher being. But like you said, like spiritual wise and energy wise, I feel like there's just a higher being looking out for all of us, and you just interpret that in your own way. Like you follow whatever your heart tells you because your heart wouldn't tell you that for no reason, or like whatever that inside gut feeling you have,
Right.
whether it be good, you just got to keep on going with it through the good times, through the bad times, and
Yep.
just get through.
Yep. Absolutely. You like one summer you said you spent your time reading. Like what were you reading and like what
Last
particularly
summer,
stuck out to you?
the first book I've read, like when I always been a reader, but I've been a reader when I wanted to, if that makes sense. Like from a little kid, I was always taught like reading was essential, like reading, math, learning how to write, learning how to speak properly, and so when I really sat down again after my sophomore year of college and picked up a book, I was at my boy's house and I seen this book called How to Communicate Like a Buddhist.
Okay.
And like my communication skills as a kid and as a teenager was always a little off. I can communicate when times is good, you feel me? Like, but when things wasn't really like my temper was really crazy, like I was just lashing out. Like you do one small thing I don't like and it's like, yo, what are you doing? Or
Right.
like, but more in an aggressive way, you feel me? So like when I seen that book, I'm like, I was really in a stage where I was tired of my temper. Like I know people around me are tired of my temper, but like I feel like people around you don't even realize like that drains my energy more than it drains your energy. And then like it's unfortunate that it drains your energy, but when I really started focusing on me, and that's what this book is really preaching, like focus on yourself and your situations and understand what you did when it comes to communication or why certain things didn't work, and then you'll be able to understand why certain people are looking at it the way they're looking at it. So
Right.
that's basically what the book was preaching. It really broke down steps, and I like what the author did. It put communication and ties with the practice of Buddhism. So like one of the chapters was like do a slight meditation for about 10 to 20 minutes and then write down everything you feel or write down just um, it was saying like replace your can'ts with cans.
Okay.
So like for example, I have wrote down on one of my on my list, I can't communicate properly. But then I change it to you cross out the can and you write the next sentence. I can communicate properly and I will communicate effectively along those lines. And once I started doing that and even reading the book some more, and like once I finished it, I found myself communicating with people a whole different way, like my family members. And like I said, I sat right out here in my backyard with one of my boys, and we was always good at having conversations, but we really was able to take it to a level where it was just much deeper, you feel me? Like picking at each other's minds and really understanding why, like being able to express ourselves to each other. And that's something you don't really see with friends. We're able to express how we feel to our friends, but we don't think we're able to say certain stuff to our friends. Right. So once I was able to really like get past that barrier of like, yo, I can't say this because they're gonna look at me like this and that. Like once I got past that barrier and really just started expressing how I feel, no matter how somebody looked at it, it made things a little bit more easier to me. So that was one of the things I liked about that book. It really opened up my mind, and it made it easier for Salem as well because, like I said, being from the city, and then half the time, you feel me, when it's summer, you're home for 3 months, and then you're right back in Salem in September, and then you're in Salem from September to November, and you get these little breaks and stuff. So, like, that was finding a balance between that, going back and forth from Salem to Boston, Boston to Salem. When I started working on my communication summer of 2017 and went back fall 2017, I was really able to communicate with like just not only people I knew, but people I didn't know as well. It opened up a shell that I like was closed for a little while.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Talking about like being vulnerable in front of your
Definitely.
friends, it's like I don't know, you feel some kind of like pressure.
Exactly.
And you kind of think that they wouldn't be open
Exactly,
to that.
especially with your male friends, because
Right,
as
yeah.
males, ever since we were younger, it's like don't cry, like
Yeah.
be tough about it, like you can get through it, like oh no, no one cares about how you feel, and it's like yeah, you can't be too deep into your feelings because that causes other emotional distress. But I should be able to express like yo, I don't even like this situation I'm in. I love this situation I'm in.
Right.
And I feel like people should be able to understand that, just like I should be able to understand if one of my homeboys came to me like, yo, I'm feeling like this right now. And like, because 9 times out of 10 with him opening up that emotion, he doesn't even know if I ever felt that way
Right.
before. I might be able to give him advice to be like, yo, I ain't never been through that before, but this is how I think you should go about it. And like, we need more of that.
Yeah.
And not only with your male friends, with female friends
Yeah.
as well. Like, because like you were saying about being in the energy, energy's real. Like, vibes don't lie, energy doesn't lie. Like, I used to think where like I walk into a room and I wouldn't want people to know there was something wrong with me. They'd be like, yo, what's wrong? I'm like, nothing. And they're like, all right. But then you can see it. Like some people who really, you really have some people who pick up on energy and they're like, may pull you aside and may hit you later on. Like, yo, I realized like you wasn't really yourself today. Like everything good and just stuff like that. So I feel like that's something, especially in the inner cities, in all black communities. Like we really gotta be okay with communicating with each other, whether it be like you're not feeling all right, you're feeling all right, or yo, I got this idea I want to get done, or like yo, I was thinking this, I was thinking that, and not be looked at like yo, what are you on, or like nah, that's not cool, or like. And if you're around that type of energy and you're on a whole different type of time where you want to express yourself, then you got to move yourself away from that energy that's like, yo, that's not cool. Or like, yo, what are you talking about? Like, shut up, bro. Like, we all really got to learn how we want people to take our feelings into account. We got to take other people's feelings into account and understand, like, it's all right. We may not be going through the same thing, like, right at the moment, but we could have been going through, like, I could have been going through something a year ago that you're going through right now.
Yeah.
And my year ago insight and being able to sit on that insight for a year of what I was going through may help you get through what you're going through right now even more effectively. It may give you a different outlook on it to handle that situation.
Yeah, absolutely. With like the energy, like I don't think we're like when we notice somebody's energy, and I'm talking about like body language and tone,
Exactly.
like we don't immediately address it.
Exactly.
Like we just kind of let it go.
And that's what, and
But
like we was just saying about the
right.
cycles, that's what leads into bigger things. Somebody having an attitude because something didn't go their way, yeah, at that moment, it's not causing anything, you
Right.
feel me?
Yeah.
But then that person is sitting on that attitude for a while, or sitting on those negative thoughts,
Hmm.
can lead that person to, you feel me?
Right.
Maybe want to harm themselves or harm somebody else, or
Yeah.
get to this point where somebody having an attitude may drag off on somebody else, and that other person goes off about their day, and
Right.
because that person's energy that they was just with rubbed off on them the wrong way, and they couldn't express that to them, they go off on the next person they're probably around, or whatever situation they may handle it in the wrong way
Yeah. It's like a
because they
chain
haven't been
reaction.
able to affect it. Like you said, it's a chain reaction. You hit one domino and
Yeah.
you have other dominoes behind it,
Yeah.
the rest of those dominoes are gonna fall as well. They're not just gonna stay put.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, man. What kind of values like did you pick up on in terms of like the books you're reading? You talking about the communicating like a Buddhist, right?
Yeah.
Like what kind of values did you pick up on that?
Values definitely from that book, things like compassion,
Hmm.
trust, not only trusting people but trusting yourself, love, like loving yourself and loving others and loving the things around you. Nature, definitely, like I look at nature different now. Like there's a reason why we have days where the sun is shining, and there's a reason we have days where it's raining, and it's so like, oh man, I hate this weather. But it's like this weather plays a key factor in life, and like it's like I said, it's the simplest things that people don't notice that really has the biggest effect as our lives. Like when it's sunny out, we're all happy, and we may be, oh, it's so hot, but you see a lot of, you feel me, good vibes, and then you may see negative vibes as well. But it's like there's a reason why these things are happening in specific moments and stuff like that, and then basically just like morals and ethics and stuff like that, like the moving with principle. I feel like principle is lost these days.
Yeah.
There's people with principles, like don't get me wrong, but a lot of people don't have their own principles. They follow principles that they see from social media, like that they see their friends doing and stuff like that. Well, I was reading something the other day where it's like people are automatically stuck in this way where it's like if it's not my way, I don't want to hear about it.
Right.
But like I was saying earlier about having an open mind, when you have an open mind, it's like, okay, this might not be going my way, but it's going a direction where it's like I feel like this direction won't lead me wrong.
Yeah.
And even if it doesn't work out the way it's supposed to, then we can evaluate that and say, okay, why isn't it? So it's just like stuff like that: principles, trust, love, compassion, being able to communicate effectively. I feel like that's a value that has went up a lot because since me reading that book and the other books I have read, I really see like there's times where I'll be so angry, but I'm not expressing it in the ways where I used to, where like I'm throwing stuff and like I'm yelling, I'm like I'm ready to fight somebody. It's really on some like, yo, like I'm not even messing with this right now, and this is why. So I'm gonna remove myself from this situation, or like I'm not even about to come back around, or like sometimes if it's really something that I feel like somebody won't understand, or like if I gotta say it more than once, it's just like I remove myself from the situation.
Yeah.
So it's just like stuff like that. I see a real change in me as a person and like the way I think, being more open minded, open hearted, and just moving with a better conscience and better values for myself and my community as well, and like people that I love, my family, my friends, like my real close ones to me.
That's dope, man. Um, you brought up a good point, and I want to add on to it. You talking about like having sunny days, rainy
Yeah,
days. It's just all a part of human nature. You're gonna have.
exactly,
It's just those days are gonna happen. They're gonna come and
exactly,
go. Just like seasons, they come and go. But
exactly.
it's still a part of like
The
human
human, it's
living
never gonna
experience.
go
Yeah,
anywhere.
it's,
Even
yeah,
when we're gone, it's still gonna happen. It's still
right.
gonna be sunny days and rainy days, bad
Yep.
days, good days. Not so like it's all gonna be there. And like once we realize that everything's always gonna be here, like and what you have to understand is from your standpoint, all right, now how can if I have a problem with this, how can I fix it?
Right.
If I
Yeah.
don't have a problem with this and this is going good, how can we keep this going good and elevate it? Like, I feel like that's what we really have to worry about instead of like, oh, nah, this been happening, and every time we try to do it, it ain't work, so we ain't doing it. Or it's not my way. And like once you get out of those stigmas and those mindsets, you really see like, okay, it's a process. And once you start trusting that process of like the good days and the bad days, and you might have things going your way one minute and things not going your way the next minute, but take those for what it is and just keep on pushing. That's how I look at it, like with the waves and stuff like this. Low tides, high tides, swells, with big waves, rogues. It's like one minute life is low and then the next minute life is high and then it goes right back to being low. Like, but don't let that take you from like, you feel me? You're gonna go in the midst of those stages, but also just keep your ground and stay true to yourself and true to what you believe in, and you're always gonna be good, I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely. Most definitely, yeah. You guys just got to take it with a grain of salt and just keep it moving.
Exactly.
Yeah. What kind of challenges are you currently facing right now, and like how are you trying to overcome them?
The challenges that I'm facing right now, one of my biggest challenges that I can say I checked off, that was like the biggest challenge of the right now, I feel like these past few months, was school and my school troubles. Like not really doing what I had to do academically and like not taking my study seriously. Well, once I started holding myself accountable and really realizing like, all right, a lot of people from where you come from don't even have this opportunity, and you're in this position, and it's not for no reason. Like whether if it's at a school you like or a school you don't like you're here for a reason. You're 3 years in, no matter if you're on academic probation or not. Like you're gonna be off it soon, but you got to keep on going up. You feel me? So I feel like that was one of the biggest challenges, and really like staying true to myself wasn't a challenge, but it was like staying true to what I believed in was really a big challenge, because like when you're going through, like I said, low times and high times, it's just like sometimes you're like, damn, is this shit even worth it? Or like, what do I do next? And then a few minutes later, I'm like, yo, like, you feel me? You've been here before. Like, you're in this position for a reason already. Like, it could be worse. So just keep on pushing. So I think that was really a challenge I was dealing with for a while. And then I think one of the challenges I'm dealing with right now at the current moment is just like what's happening around me. And not only from where I come from, just like from the world standpoint. Since 2018 started, and even like the last few months of 2017, when we got a new president and the election was over, and we really seen like, okay, this wasn't a nightmare. Like, well, it's a nightmare in a sense, but it's like it's not. It's our eyes aren't closed. Our eyes are open, and we are seeing this. Like even when we go to sleep, we probably still dream about it, but when we wake up, it's still here. So like, it's really like not getting caught up in all the foolery, and like I said, just staying positive through the tough times. Like, yeah, you're in this situation, but you're not in it forever. You feel me? You can even uplift yourself while uplifting this situation. So like, trying to stay positive in that. Like, from going to a place like I said, going back and forth from Salem to Boston. And Salem, the only type of police I see is university police. Like, you feel me? Salem really isn't a town where Salem police is going around on a daily to keep somebody from killing each other down the street, or like, you feel me? Salem has its problems as well, but like compared to where I come from in Boston, like I hear sirens every day, helicopters, like gunshots, like, or you're just hearing about it on the news. Another person found dead, or another shootout, and it's just like going back and forth in the midst of that. Like I was telling my roommate the other day, he had moved back home before me, and he's like, yo, this is crazy. Like, we're just back in it. I'm like, yeah, bro. Like, it's not that we back in it. Like, none of that shit stopped when we're up out here at school. You feel me? Like, we're just away from it.
Yeah.
But we're not. You feel me? At the end of the day, we still got to come back to it. There's some of our peers who get to stay where they're at, and like their towns are so peaceful, and it's like that's just because that's how good that situation is. And unfortunately, we got to come back where it's like it's not always negative, but like I said, some of the negative overshines the positive because it's happening on an effect every day, and it's like, damn, you're just so prone to seeing it. You're so prone to like these negative things like shootings and all of this. And it's just like, all right, like how we gonna get through it? Like we're not gonna get rid of it.
Right.
And that's another challenge I had to like. I was in this thing for a while where it's like, okay, I really believed in, and I still kind of firmly believe in it, that like we can all come together. But then, like I said, you're always gonna have something fighting a positive force. And it's sometimes it's not even by choice. It could be by choice, but subconsciously, so many people are caught in the trap of things, or caught in the cycles of their life that they may not want to leave because they just don't want to,
Yeah.
or because, like, you feel me, they don't have the right resources and stuff like that. And it's just like, that's the biggest challenge, knowing that, like, no matter how much positive you try to do, it can be taken away from you at any moment. It can be taken away, like, you feel me, from the situation, like, and that's unfortunate, but like that's just a way of life. Like we're saying about sunny days and rainy days.
Yeah.
These past few days, Monday was hot as ever, and then Tuesday and Wednesday the sun was like out, but it was kind of windy, gray skies, and then we get back to Thursday and Friday, and the sun's kind of popping back out. So it's just like you just got to take that for what it is and go with the flow of things.
Absolutely, man. This well, everything you said is well said. Most definitely,
Exactly.
it
Just
it's very
telling it like
valid.
it is.
It's
You feel
very,
me?
yeah. Everything you said was very valid.
Definitely.
Um, so like, what are you kind of what improvements are you making right now for yourself? Um, how are you making those improvements? Like, are you what kind of resources are you taking advantage of? So you just talk about that.
All right. So the taking advantage of the resources and like what I'm doing to improve this situation. Definitely the school situation, improving that by just keeping an open mind and knowing like, yeah, I got one more year left. But like I said, like don't think like, oh, just because I'm off academic probation, like nothing can ever happen to me again, or I might not fall behind in school. It's like doing the things in my power to not even think about falling back again.
Right.
So like next semester, just my schedule is back to a point where I can take more than 4 classes. So like, all right, your schedule is not gonna be as free. So make sure you do what you gotta do. So when it is free, you don't have to be worrying about, you feel me? Oh, I got this to do, I got that to do, I can't do that. I done banged out everything I needed to do so I can do what I wanna do. Using those resources at school, like you went to Salem, so like the Center of Academic Excellence, the library, pair mentors, going to the NAV Center whenever I have a question. Housing, housing really has a lot of people who are good with like sitting down and talking with you whenever you have a problem. My peers, I really learned how to talk to my classmates too,
Yeah.
because high school and college are really different. Like in high school, you're so used to being with the same people every day. You feel me?
Yeah.
And then in college, it's like you're with these people for a semester, and then that's the next semester. You might have a class with 1 or 2 people you had a class with before, but you're with a whole new group of people. So building those relationships. So if you do ever have a class with somebody again, that's already established. You feel me? And you're like, oh, we had class together, and like that just creates. You feel me? Whatever that creates, and just using my peers outside of my classes, like who I chill with on a daily. Like if I need some help with something, like yo, I know you're pretty good at this. Can I get your help with that? And like just opening up and still being vulnerable and like knowing that yes, I'm getting this done, but I can also ask for help, and it would like I would be pointed in the right direction on, okay, you need help with this certain assignment, you can go to the Center of Academic Excellence, and there's a writing assignment. You have an essay to write, there's a writing center that you can go to, and they'll help you with these and give you the right resources and help you properly outline your essay and look up research and do things like that. And then music wise, using my platform that I have, like we have these social media sites, and like yeah, it's all fun and stuff, but I don't think people really realize the power it has. Like
Yeah.
when you have a following, I had this quote I came up with one day, and it goes, "Your leading doesn't get judged by how many people are following; it gets judged by where you lead that following to." And like the reason why I came up with that is because I feel like we're in the social media world, this internet age, and it's like we only look at, oh, this person got 1 million followers, and they get 1 million likes on Instagram, 100 retweets on Twitter, and like we put our values in these little small boxes that don't even mean a goddamn thing at the end of the day. And it's like when you use those tools the right way and really throw a message in the midst of it, it's it's a better following, whether if one person's listening or 100 people listening or 100 million people are listening. Like, what are you actually doing with that following and your platform? Like, you can say you're an artist, you can say you're a school student, but what are you actually doing with those resources and platforms that you have to make sure that other people know, like, yo, this is out here for me, or this is someone I can relate to, or these are certain things that are going on in my city, my campus that I can go out to and enjoy, like just using it for stuff like that as well. And not only, oh, I got this new song, I'll go listen to it. Like,
Right.
nah, having messages and really more positive insight on things there for people as well. So that's how I look at that.
That's dope, man. It sounds like you got like you know what you're doing, and you know like you got the tools
Exactly.
to success, and
Like,
you know what to do.
coming from the Boston scene, it's like Boston has a scene. You hear a lot, oh, Boston doesn't have a scene. And people don't think we have a scene because we're not in Atlanta, New York, LA,
Yeah. Yeah.
Chicago. You feel me? We're not this big, like everybody wants to come to Boston. But you really look deeper into Boston, you'll see from Roxbury, Mattapan, South End, Jamaica Plain, like even the North Shore to the South Shore, you have people in Massachusetts in general who are really doing a lot of things,
Yeah.
but we're just not seeing you. Massachusetts is really seen as the best hospitals and stuff, you feel me? The best schools,
Yeah.
law schools,
Yeah.
whatever schools you can think of, you feel me?
Yeah.
We're not really, and when it comes to music and arts, and it's more like contemporary things, like
Yeah.
operas and
Yeah.
orchestras and all that. So like, this scene has been brewing up since like 2011, 2010, like the early days, and really transitioning 9 to 10 years later and becoming something bigger. We just got to keep the ball rolling. So like, I look at my placement in it as like, I'm not just doing it to be like, yeah, I'm from Boston and I'm this rapper, or I'm this artist. Like, nah, like I'm from Boston and I seen the power that my city has always had. Like, I've been around this scene for a minute. So it's like, all right, so now that I know, I always knew I had a love for this, and I know that I like where I fit in and where my lane is and what I can bring to the table for the city or for people in general. So just like I said, keeping that open lane and not jumping from, you feel me?
Right.
Creating a lane, staying there, and everything else is diverging from that. So
Yeah. I actually I had this conversation with I know you know
yeah,
Chiz Capo,
yeah, yeah,
and I had this same conversation with Muna. It was more in the vein of Boston most definitely has talent.
definitely.
It's just that I don't think that there's any spaces that allows it for hip hop to be able to thrive here.
Exactly.
So
And we definitely, you mentioned Shiz Capo and Muna. Those are like you mentioned for me, those two right there, and like that's my generation.
right,
Like Cousin Stiz, and there's a lot of people that are in that realm, that early Boston music scene that has even given us this platform. That there's a lot of people you can say that gave Boston the looks on why we're getting looked at as we look at now.
right,
And when you bring up names like Muna and Shiz Capo, I see us as like the new generation, along with many other people in the
right,
city. And like you said, there's just not a lot of spaces. Like back in 2017, I hosted a birthday party for one of my boys. They're a group of musicians as well, LOB the family. And this was like the first time that I actually got to be in a room with people my generation and no fights broke out.
right.
We was all able to vibe and have good time, good food, you feel me? Just enjoy the scenery, enjoy the music. And then we threw a second one for my boy Shiz's birthday party. He's part of the same group. And that was even bigger. Like we had Shiz Capo came and performed. There was a few artists like Kai Bills and LOB, and like just having all these young artists in the room, or like up at school when we have open mics, you have people like me, Mona, Kang, Connie. Like you have so many people who are doing things in our city back and forth. Like I said, and like you said, we have the spaces like the Middle East and the
Yeah.
clubs and all that, but like on a predominantly, like I look at you when you was out in Chicago and out in Ohio, I feel like you're at a show every other night, bro.
Yeah.
Honestly, like every time I look on your feed, you're at a show taking pictures, doing interviews, and it's like, damn, we have that here in Boston, but we need more of it. That's what it really is. We don't see it enough. We do it once in a while, and then we wait before we do the next one.
Right.
Like, nah, we need more of that consistency.
Yeah.
I really think it's a consistency thing with Boston too. Like, cause I even found myself singing that, like, oh, nobody cares about Boston for a minute, and I really sat back. You don't even have a lot of music out, one, so you can't even say that. Like, this is me talking to myself. So that's when I really got in my bag, and I'm like, all right, you noticing this problem, so what are you gonna do to make sure you can bring it to the bring whatever to the table, whether it be, like I said, I hosted those two events and I performed at the second one as well as hosting it. Like, don't only put yourself in this artist in this box as an artist. Like, when my boy came up to me and asked me like, yo, you trying to host it? I'm like, honestly, bro, I ain't never host a party in a venue a day in my life, but
Right.
because it's my homeboy, yeah. And the first one, everybody's like, yo, your energy was crazy. I came back and did the second one, and I was just supposed to perform at this one, and he's like, yo, like right before the party started, he's like, yo, you want to host again? And I'm just like, fuck it, let's do it. And like after that party, everyone's coming up to me like, yo, I didn't even know you can like host stuff. I'm like, bro, I didn't know I could either. I just hopped on the mic and made sure, like, you feel me? When you're on the stage as an artist, a host, a person who's putting an event together, you have to have the energy.
Yes.
You had the idea to put it together or be part of it. So whatever, like I said, whatever you can bring to the table, all right, I know I got to host and not only perform. While I'm hosting, I'm going to be the best damn host.
Right.
While I'm performing, I'm going to be the best performer I can be at that possible moment. And then when I hop back on the mic to host, it's like, you're going to be like, yo, how is he doing all of that? And like I said, at the party, I was realizing what I was doing, but I didn't really realize what I did until after the party. And I'm putting up pictures of my performance and everybody else's, and they're like, yo, y'all really had the city lit.
Right.
And like I said, it was on some, you didn't see any fights. You didn't see any like, oh, this is going on. I ain't like this person. Like, everybody was like, yo, everybody who performed did a great job. We're all showing each other love. And it's like, if we had more of that, then we'll have way more, okay, there is a scene in Boston. We'll have the outsiders saying like, oh, okay, Boston does have something. I feel like everybody in Boston knows Boston has a big scene.
Yeah.
And it can only get bigger, but we have to keep on taking those proper steps to, you feel me, add to it and make sure that it's not getting watered down or it's not getting overlooked. Like, we got to give them a reason to be like, yo, like, y'all see us. Like, we're right in front of y'all. Like, ain't no more, oh, Boston, but Atlanta's over here. Like, nah, okay, we got Boston, Atlanta, New York, L.A., blah. Like, if we really want to be in those discussions, we have to start acting like it and holding ourselves accountable for wanting that. You feel me? Like,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, absolutely. I think you talk about MCing, like we were talking about before as well with energy.
yeah.
I know that you already know how to read energy, so that's very essential when it comes to
Exactly.
hosting a
And
party.
while I was up there on the stage, like the first time I hosted the party, it was back in 2017. So like on the way there, I'm talking to my roommates. I'm like, yo, I ain't never hosted. Like, you feel me? What I'm used to the most is like being in house parties and like, you feel me, being the hype man. And like, I have a lot of friends who like I got a homeboy who DJs, or like when I was younger, that's all we used to do. We'll get together. Like, I threw a party in my backyard once when I graduated from high school, and even that, like, reading the energy of everybody, knowing like, oh, I can't be all over the place. I gotta be back here with everybody, with the people. You feel me? So everything stays in tune. Same thing on stage. You can't. Okay, we about to start in a few, and then not talk. You feel me? In the midst of telling everybody we about to start, how's everybody doing tonight? Like, grab that attention that you want in the room. And once people like, oh, this dude on stage is lit, forget this side conversation. We about to come over here and see what's popping off. And then you get into the performances and you're just building up the energy as you go. And even before you even step into the party, like, what energy is being put into this party before it even happens, because that determines a lot as well. That determines if you're going to have a lot of people show up right at the beginning, right near the end, like, you feel me? Whatever when people talk about and people want to go to the stuff they hear about the most, the stuff that gets that, you feel me?
Right.
Like, so you just gotta put good energy into it, and good would always come back, or you take whatever comes for that and you turn it into, you feel me?
Right. Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate the conversation, man. This was
Definitely.
very informative. Uh, well thought out.
Yeah.
Most definitely got positive vibes going on with
I
you, man.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
And like I said, I appreciate you even letting me use your platform with my platform and combining them. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like I said, we went from just talking to each other at Gasset,
Right.
hooping with each other, and like seeing each other on campus. Like you always show love to me, and I always made sure I extended that love back because like I said, being out in Salem, there's not too many people like us. You feel me?
Yeah.
And there's not too many people in the world like us in general who want to dream big. So like once I peeped you out of platform and once what you was really doing with it, like I was saying, like I was telling Muna's interview was the first interview I seen of yours, and I'm like, wait, the Jam Company. I'm like, he used to go to Salem State.
Right.
And then I peeped he was in Chicago. I'm like, wait, I just seen him on campus.
Right.
Now he's in Chicago. Then he's in Ohio. So I'm like, just seeing that energy and knowing like there's a platform out there for artists like myself, Moon or Shit's Capo, whoever in Chicago, Ohio, like knowing that we can push positive vibes forward. This is what keeps the faith alive in me. You feel me? This is what makes me want to keep on going and
Yeah.
you feel me, really get my message across, whether it be through the music, whether it be through whatever I do with my school degree, whatever, like, you feel me, whatever new ideas I come up with, like, I'm always thinking and manifesting new dreams and new things that I feel like can really empower not only myself, but my people and my community and others in general, just not my people. Like, we got to start thinking like, yeah, we can be for our people and stuff, but the world is like we're all human beings. We all have one thing in common at the end of the day. If it's not our race,
Right.
it's we're all human beings.
Yep.
We all have feelings. We all live and breathe the same air. And it's just like once we really start realizing that and we get out of these stigmas,
Right.
then you never know what can happen. Like I said, you're always gonna have the little whirlpool over here, but which whirlpool is gonna be bigger, the positive or the negative?
Right.
So that's just how I look at things.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I always try to lead by example and also share my knowledge and
Definitely. And I
share.
always peep that.
Yeah.
Like, even on the court, like, it's the little things. I was telling my roommate the other day when I was, yesterday when I was showing him, I'm like, yeah, I have an interview tomorrow and all that. It's like, with who? And I'm like, Jamal that used to go to our school. He's like, Jamal. Like, bro, we used to hoop with him all the time. And I'm like, when I show you him, you're going to be like, oh, shit, this guy?
Right.
And exactly when I go to your IG page and I'm showing him, he's like, yo, we used to always hoop with him.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, bro. And like you said, just leading by example. Like, this is the smallest thing, like pickup basketball. But playing pickup basketball with you,
It
bro,
could turn to something else, man.
exactly. Like, you're always the first one up and down the court. Like, you
Right.
don't
Yeah,
you
man,
don't
I'm a hustle
sag
player.
off. Like, you
Yeah.
don't, you feel me? You're always playing defense.
Right.
You're always getting back on offense, like, and leading by example. Like, now you have a platform where you see, like, okay, you probably had a vision one day to even start the Jam Company. This is what I want to do with it. I want to give artists a platforms to talk about what they love doing and share their music and share these events and stuff. You put that background into it, and it's like even watching you with the GoFundMe and like wanting to get the new mics and like investing in yourself and investing in your dream, investing in your brand. Like that's a lot we don't see of in our community.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like we see it, but when we do see it, it's like, oh, okay, that person's doing that.
Yeah.
Like we got to come on to, okay, you're doing that. And this is what I feel like I can bring to this. If I have the opportunity, cool, let's get it done. You
Right.
feel me? Like, that's how we really got to start looking at things because that's how other races in the world get through.
Yeah.
They come together with their ideas. They sit in a room, get to the drawing board, and you feel me?
Yeah.
They don't fight about it. And if they do have little arguments and stuff about it, they ain't killing each other over it. They ain't fighting each other out there. They're like, all right, you disagree with me and I disagree with you. How can we make this better?
Right.
So it's just little things like that. Leading by example, just knowing what you want to do, being open-minded, vulnerable to certain situations. Like, it's cool to really not understand things.
Yeah.
There for a while, like, I had this problem where it's like, I used to think like, oh, if people realize I don't understand this, like, I'm going to get looked at a certain way. Like, now I love asking questions. Like, I took a philosophy class. I retook a philosophy class this semester that I failed my freshman year. And I'm reading things like Plato's Allegory of the Cave and reading books about Socrates. And, like, Socrates always questions stuff. If you read about it, like, he's the one that everybody hated because he was always asking questions. That's why they put him to death because they're like, you think you know everything.
Right.
But like Socrates said, all I know is that I don't know it all.
Right.
Like, you feel me?
Yeah.
And to put those in his words the best way I can. Like, and he also said, the life, the unexamined life is a life not worth living. If you're not asking questions, if you're not understanding why things are happening in your life, then you're just existing. There's a
Yeah.
difference between, I was telling somebody yesterday, there's a difference between existing and living.
Right.
You can be existing. Everything exists. The air, trees exist.
Yeah.
But what is this tree doing to live? It grows leaves in the summertime. It dies in the winter. It fertilizes our soil. Like, you feel me? Nothing. The sun comes down to the soil to let these trees blossom back in the summer and flowers and stuff. And the same thing with people.
Yeah.
You go through things to either learn from them or not learn from them. And the choice is yours at the end of the day. So it's just like,
Yeah, that's beautiful imagery right there, and most definitely, I approach life with curiosity.
exactly.
Yeah, I
And there's
think
no problem with
right.
that. It's like, and I realized these past few months, like being back out in Salem, like before, bro, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I would literally go to my classes and go right back to my room.
Okay.
You feel me?
Yeah.
You're not learning anything from
Right.
that. Yes, I'm going to class, and yes, I'm seeing a group of different people. But
Yeah.
once I really started going around different people, like, I'm always gonna be cool with my roommates and stuff. Like, that ain't never going nowhere.
Right.
But let me see what this person over here about.
Right.
This person's interested in chilling with me. They see that I'm doing this, especially when I started showing my musical side out there at Salem. Everybody's like, yo, when I usually see you walking around, you got on headphones and stuff. That's why, like, you always listening to music. And, like, you been had this vibe, but now that I get to chill around you, I'm starting to see that more. And I'm like, yeah, like, just being more open-minded and not like, oh, I'm from Boston and this is Salem and I ain't used to none of this, so I'm just staying around. Like, that's how I was really thinking at one point.
Yeah.
I'm staying around everything Boston. And then that's like, yo, like, you're not in Boston, bro.
Yeah.
Like, as much as you want to be in Boston, like, yeah, I'm around the Boston people, but y'all are still Boston people in Salem. You still
Yeah.
got to go out and, like, even if it's going down the street to Forest River Park real quick and just going to sit by the water with a couple of people, you feel me? Or sitting marsh having conversations with people, going to Gasset and playing ball and having conversations in the midst of that. Like, those little things really matter, and then tune yourself with the bigger things that you may want to get done. Like, you always have that type of stuff at the back of your mind,
Yeah.
but it always comes out when you see that sign, like, oh. And that's how I'm looking at things. Like, I don't even look at things as a new idea. Like, yes, it's a new idea that I'm saying to people, but this idea was always in the back of my mind. I just had to experience something that would make it come out.
Yeah.
You feel me? It's all about
Yeah.
experience and how you interpret your experience to your life and to the world, and how you get, like, the different signs and stuff that put you on your path to your journey.
Yeah, most definitely. You absolutely have to allow yourself to experience somebody else's view,
Exactly.
experience different parts of the country, different
Exactly.
parts of the world.
Exactly. Different
and
parts
that-
of your town.
Mhm.
Like I told people, the most I knew about Salem before going out there for college, bro, was Hocus Pocus. And, like, you feel
Yeah,
me?
yeah.
Like,
and there's much more than
and,
that.
and it's
So,
like, and like I said, being open-minded now, like you said, I know there's much more than Salem than Hocus Pocus. It's Salem State University and the rich history that the school has, you feel me? And
Right.
just, like, it's not always seen as good sometimes,
Yeah.
but you feel me? Things happen for a reason, and why are they happening? And just knowing, okay, PBD's the next town over, and PBD has its history. It's just like being in Boston. Like, a lot of people, when I tell them that when I'm out at school and they're like, oh, where you from? And, like, I'm like, Roxbury. And they're like, where's that? It's like, it's a town in Boston. Like, it's basically what you would see Salem as. Like, you feel me? It's just it's one of the sub parts of Boston.
Yeah.
And they always asking, like, what is there to do? Like, most people only know about the downtown area of Boston. Like, oh, you must see, like, Newberry back. I'm like, yeah, I done been to those places. But then
Right.
there's a surrounding area around that,
Right,
homie,
yeah.
that, like, you feel
Yeah,
me?
yeah.
We have our own little,
Yeah.
you feel me? It's not just the negative stuff y'all see on Channel 5 and
Right.
Channel 25 at 10 and 11. We have other things that go on here, too, but we just don't, they just want to show y'all that about us.
Yeah.
And then they get to see the different parts, like, artists like me and, like, just different experiences and stuff like that. And it's like, their minds are being opened as well. I have a lot of people who are interested, like, yo, I want to come to your town one day. Like, yeah, you can, bro. Like,
Yeah.
it's no different from me being in your town. Like,
Right.
it's always new things to learn. There's always new things to do. Like, so that's how you really just got to look at this life thing. Like, live with curiosity and, like, live with curiosity to the point where it's like, if you're really questioning, should I do this? then don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's like, all right, should I do this? And it's like a yeah, and like you get that first gut feeling, your heart's telling you, yeah, get that done, then you know you're not being led the wrong way. Something spiritually, whatever you believe in spiritually, religion wise, like that's telling your heart. You're telling yourself, your mind is talking to your heart, and you're fully aligned, and it's just like just go for it. Like why not? Why, like Westbrook says, why not? You feel
Right.
me?
Yeah.
Just keep on going and figure out these things about yourself and learn about different things in life and why they happen, and you'll be able to do whatever it is you want to do and put your energy in that way. So
Yeah, most definitely. And when you're talking about like people like only have this one view of like you saying like only know of Salem because of Hocus Pocus. Like
exactly,
people base their opinions off basically the baseline of what they know.
exactly,
So like yeah, once you actually go out of your way and experience like what's actually going on in another part of
exactly.
the country, it's it can be life changing.
Like my
Or it could potentially solidify their opinions already.
exactly. And then that's the beauty of it. Like you really have to experience things. And like I was saying, like what I knew about Salem was Hocus Pocus and like Halloween and like, but you go out there and you realize the rich history of like a Forest River Park.
Mm.
That's a park that's been there since the 1630s, and like that's a major part of my brand, me and my cousin's brand as well. Suffolk County, Boston, and Massachusetts in general was established in 1630. So like even find out about that while I'm on this journey. You probably realize that I'm always hashtagging 1630 on my picture, Suffolk County Inc. And I'm sitting one day walking down the street to the beach, and I look up, and it says Forest River Park established 1630. And I'm like, this is why I like coming here so much, because like it's already in the subconsciously, it's already on my path on. It led to me going out to Salem, to me finding a park to go chill at whenever I want to go clear my mind. From that part connecting to my brand and in a sense, and just different things like that. Like you really just gotta take it from your. I wasn't placed in Salem for no reason. Like it just wasn't a coincidence that the kid from Boston was goes to school in Salem State. Like I could have went to school anywhere else, at UMD, out of state school like Howard or something like that. I had so many choices that I wanted to do. And like even though Salem was the last resort, I always tell people like, yo, I know I was put in Salem for a reason, and I really think it was for like a change, like a positive change at that, like being very impactful. And like my academic probation and all those problems kind of opened up my mind to that. Like, okay, like this might have something to do with what you're gonna change here, like changing the opportunities for little black boys and girls to be able to go to a college, university, experience a dorm life, and live on the campus, and not be like, damn, I have these financial problems, and that's why I can't go, or I don't feel like I'm good enough to go to school. Like, school's not for everybody. Don't get me wrong. Like, I see some people who work better outside of school than they do in school. I see some people who work better inside of school than they do outside. Like it's just it's whatever path your journey is supposed to go down is where you go, and if that's something you want to do, just know it's possible, because a person like myself in the same place that you come from was able to do it.
Yeah.
And don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. Like even in the midst of going on academic probation, almost getting dismissed, like I was able to rise above and overcome those obstacles. And now look where I'm at today, about to go into my senior year and only progress to much better, because that's all I have on my mind. So like,
Yeah. Yeah. I have a different view on like education in terms
yeah,
of college education. When it comes to, I think like if you treat college like high school,
yeah,
where it's required
yeah,
for an entire nation,
yeah,
it increases the level of intellect, the level of knowledge
definitely,
of the entire nation, and
definitely,
it's beneficial for the
definitely,
economy, for the future.
definitely.
So I mean that's what my like, just personal view on it.
I see exactly where you're coming from,
But I mean obviously everybody's
and I feel
not built
like
for it though.
nah,
But I think we should treat it that way though.
I definitely see where you're coming from. If it was treated that way, I think that could make things a little better, because just imagine if we wasn't required to go to high school, how life would be. You feel me?
Right? Yeah.
So like if we would have stopped at middle school and like, oh, you have the option to go to high school if you want to, bro. Like you don't gotta go if you don't want to.
Yeah.
So like I definitely see what you're saying with that. And like to me, like school, like all I know is school, and like when school's out, I do whatever I do from working, from my music and stuff like that. But ever since I was a little kid, it was always trained to me to go to school and like. And I know some people may not like school and may not want to go, and that's what I'm saying. Like it's not for everybody, but it does. The experience definitely raises a level of
Of self-awareness.
self awareness and knowledge and like learning more about yourself, learning about your surroundings. Like I feel like college really isn't for the schoolwork. Like you do
No,
schoolwork
yeah,
in the
yeah,
midst of it. Like and we like not to say, oh, don't do your work. Like, yeah, you're doing work while you're there, but it's also the experience outside of that classroom that
yeah,
really shapes it.
yeah,
Because those experiences outside of the classrooms is either gonna have you doing what you need to do and not doing what you need to do. When it has you doing what you need to do, that's even better. And in the midst of it, if you're not doing what you need to do for the time being, and then you smarten back up, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm in this position for a reason. Like for me, for example, like when I realized that, like, yeah, I don't like school, but I'm in school, but it's really like, fuck not liking school and fuck not liking being here. Like you're here for a reason. It's much bigger than you, and like you seeing all this around you happening, and you're still in this position to win.
yeah,
So you got to take advantage of it and do the best you can. So I definitely see where you get coming from. If it was a requirement, and I felt like there was better agendas behind colleges and stuff like that, and better resources for the less fortunate or for people who felt like, yo, I don't even belong here,
yeah,
then that definitely would be on some like grand scale of things. That would be dope if we can get there one day, for
yeah,
real.
yeah. Absolutely. All right. Well, you got any shout outs you want to make?
Um, I definitely want to shout out the Jam Company for letting me use the platform. Shout out to everybody who's been supporting me for the past year and a half through all my triumphs, through all my lows, my high tides. Like, just what's crazy is because I never even talked about this throughout the interview, but I'm wearing one of my shirts right now from Unknown Wave, and this was one of the first shirts I ever made for my brand. Like when I first started realizing, like my freshman year in Salem, like all right, I'm a business major. What I want to do, and like I said, I always been into hip hop and into the rap scene and stuff. Like before I even got back on the music tip, it was really like I still wanted to be involved with it heavy. So like once I really got my voice back and really started realizing that, and my older cousin started realizing that, he was telling me about his brand that he wanted to do, and it's like it's called Suffolk County Inc. So it's basically marketing, management, promotion, events, stuff like that. And we talked about it since my freshman year. And when I started going on my school troubles, he's like, "Look, bro, I'm gonna help you, and you're gonna help me. Basically, like you can still brand yourself and do what you want to do. Like the whole unknown wave concept is still there, but like this is what we're gonna do together. Like I have this certain knowledge in promotion and throwing events and even musically, and then you have this information of stuff you're learning in college and even stuff that I see you doing that I don't even know that you telling me about, and like that you're learning outside of the classroom. And like you putting me on the game and I'm putting you on the game, so it was just like when I really started to go on like my academic troubles, I was like, all right, we might as well merge the brands. So like I still rock these shirts because it's like these are the first official shirts. Like this was when I look at this wave, I see me a lot. Like I said, the lows, the highs. Like it's just like I remember when I first looked at this logo, it was like, damn, that's something that not only came from me, but it came from the inspirations of my friends, like my roommates, some of my homies I went to high school with, some of my homies I grew up with. Like it's really too many to name. Like shout out to the whole third, shout out to everybody who's down with Unknown Wave, Suffolk County Ain't, GQ, Shifty, Kai, Mons, Cheese, my boy Jove. Like there's really too many of us to name.
Yeah,
And I like that because when you see me, I always tell people like you see my homies. And like you may not see them, but like when you see this, when you see Suffolk County Inc., like you seeing something that's much bigger than me. And like that's what my older cousin GQ was just preaching to me. Like that's how you really gotta look at these things. And like when you look at it as a team aspect, like not just oh me, 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 me.
yeah,
Like most of my favorite rappers or favorite business people came up in the team aspect. Like one of my favorite rappers is Tupac Shakur. Like you see Tupac's legacy, and like he had people around him, and he acknowledged those people around him that like, yo, I wouldn't even be here today if it wasn't for you. Feel me?
Right.
For these people, and he always stuck by those people that stuck by him, and that's just like how I try to move. Even like Jay-Z, like look at how Rockefeller came about, and 20 years later we have Rock Nation.
Mm-hmm.
Like you feel me? Rockefeller broke up in the early 2000s, and but just from people staying together, and like some people went their different ways, and whatever they did, but like team aspects are always better than individual aspects. It's the individual aspects and contributions that come and make the team,
Yeah.
but that's what makes the team so even better when everybody sees it from eye to eye, and they're like, yo, all right, this is what I bring to the table, this is what you bring to the table, this is what you bring to the table. And that's what I just try to like tell anybody I bring around me. Like I said, most of the people I got around me right now are people I grew up with, people I went to high school with. So like it's always easy to get that message across, and even when we may not see eye to eye, we always come to the formulation of like, all right, like I got this way, you got this way, bet, give me a few minutes, I'm gonna hit you back,
Yeah.
no matter how long it takes. And then when you talk to them again, it's like, yo, this is how we can do this. Like, just how my cousin had called me before the interview. We was upstairs talking about the next line of shirts we want to drop. Like, yo, how we gonna do it this time? How we gonna go about it? Like when I first dropped my Under Wave shirts, the first batch I ever got, I went from 10 to 15, 100 shirts.
Right.
Now the 10 and 15 batch did well, and so did the 100 shirts, but it just took me a little longer to like move all 100 shirts. People, oh, I'll grab one, and it's like, so like from going through that experience, and then him peeping that, and then he had already dropped some shirts before as well with the Suffolk County logo stuff on it. And his first batch, we was just talking about it. He was like, yeah, I grabbed 10 the first time. So I'm like, all right, this time we're gonna grab more than 10 because we have 10 people alone who are the home team are gonna have the tees. You feel me?
Yeah.
So you got to get that out the way. But then some people have already been waiting for shirts. Like I got people still waiting for Unknown Wave shirts. And what y'all don't know is I'm gonna look into the camera and say this. So like everybody thinks I'm playing. Like I have something much better coming than like. I wanted to like not shy away from the wave. Like every time you see this logo, you're still gonna see me, and that's the beautiful thing about it. And that's what I love about working with my cousin. Like it wasn't like, yo, you gonna rep my brand and that's it. Like we still gonna drop waves. We still like that's how I was looking at it. I didn't want to say like, oh, I drop collections, or like I look at it like I drop waves. Everything's a wave to me. Every 7 swell creates a wave. So the swells is like I was telling you earlier,
Right.
the smaller. Like when you're looking at water, you see, and then we have a lot of swells out here in Massachusetts. And it's crazy because this guy was telling me in Salem one day, I'm sitting down at the beach and I'm watching him kayak, and I'm like, yeah, like how is it kayaking out here? He's like, oh, it's pretty decent because like there's only swells and stuff. And I asked him like, what's a swell? He's like, a swell's just a smaller wave you see, and every seventh swell creates a wave. And this is a midst of me starting my brand, so I'm like, okay, I like that. And then I'm realizing like every little piece leads up to a big piece. So things I did before this interview led up to this interview.
Yeah.
Things I did before the things I did for this interview led up to me doing those things. So just looking at it like that, and like just being able to get things done with your homies, and like the genuine support I really been getting, like even from Salem. I get love out in Salem like I grew up there. And it's like for me only pushing a positive message and a positive vibe, and really, you feel me, only being myself and staying true to what I know, and people fucking with that. So like I appreciate things like that because a lot of people didn't even know like for a minute that I was going through some school shit. Like I was keeping that on the low because like I said, I'm like, yo, like I don't want to hear nobody's mouth like, oh, you fucking up in school, like
Yeah.
you feel me? And then it's like, oh damn, I'm about to get dismissed. Like I'm gonna have to sit back in the city. Like I already felt like if I would have got dismissed and I didn't do that letter of appeal, like I would have been moving backwards.
Right.
And like moving backwards is never good. So once I realized that, I'm like, yo, you just gotta keep on moving forward. And the support I had from like not only my friends and family in Boston, but like my friends out in Salem, like that was great to me too. Like we was just talking about Chris earlier, and like when me and Chris first hung out, that like, and I was telling him like, yeah, bro, I'm on this academic warning and stuff, and he just like from the very first moment he heard I was having troubles in school, from me almost getting kicked out. I remember when we was talking about our grades in one of the classes we had together first semester of this year, and I'm like, I was telling him my grade, but I'm like, yeah, bro, I don't know if I'm gonna be back, cause like they're trying to dismiss me and all this, and he was just like, bro, you're gonna be back. Just make sure you're doing what you gotta do, and you're gonna be right back with us doing. You feel me? So like, definitely my friends out in Salem, like definitely RP to Chris, my boy Harry. Like there's so many people I can name right now. Like, and they all know. Like I tell them on an individual basis. Like from my roommates to my family, friends to my family. Like I always take out little time in my days where I hit some people up like, yo, I love you. I appreciate you for even like, you feel me? Like I know I was on some bullshit for a while, or like I know there was a point in time where it looked like, damn, what the fuck is DeAndre doing? But I appreciate you even sticking with me, because I seen a lot of people turn their back. And like, granted, there was some situations where it was like I said, I was holding myself accountable, so I was at fault for like not not to say for people not believing in me, but it's like, yo, what am I even around this dude for?
Right.
So like once I peeped that and like not blaming, like, nah, you had a problem, I'm really looking at myself like, all right, I was on some bullshit, and like whatever the situation may have been, whether it came to school, friendships, relationships, like whatever the case may have been. And once I really started to examine that and people started seeing that, and the ones who really understood that like stayed down, you feel me, like I said, and really like always made me remember like, bro, you're gonna get through this academic probation shit, or like you may not they may not be hearing you in your music now, but yo, like we hear you. Like Muna has like this energy that just like inspires me, bro. And like he's been rapping longer than me, like, you feel me? And like I don't see competition when it comes to this. Like I feel like most people in our generation, or just like in this field of work in general, they like, oh, like, fuck the competition, this and that. It's like, yo, it's not even a competition. Like, Muna came up to me one day, like, yo, bro, like, you inspire me. And I'm like, dog, you don't even know you inspire me, bro. Like his Village Boy tape, when I first heard that, when I first met Muna, I'm like, okay, he's a rapper. And like, but when I came back home and I listened to his tape, and I'm sitting down with my homies, and we like, and I went back to school. I'm like, yo, like, you really, like, you're using your platform for something much bigger than you. And like, that gives me faith to use my platform for something much bigger than me as well. You feel me? And like, to sit down with people and have countless conversations with them about things like that. And it's just like, I appreciate those things, even knowing that I can motivate certain people who's been doing this for a while, but still can take the time out to be like, yo, this inspires me. Cause like I was saying, I do the same thing. Like, I love giving credit where credit is due. And like I feel like that's something we have to start doing more. Like, not to say like for the credit, but for the fact of to keep the process going. Like, fuck the credit at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But there's things that need to be acknowledged that don't get acknowledged, and they really need more light shined on them, and we really need to start doing that more, like as a group, as an individual, as a, like, you feel me, as a people. So that's why I just try. I strive to live with the best energy that I can. Like, even on my worst days, like I said, there be some times where I'm all happy go lucky, and then I'll straight tell you when I walk in the room, like, yo, I'm on edge right now. So like, you feel me? I like, and it's not like to be like, yo, I'm on edge right now, don't nobody fuck with me. It's just like, yo, just know, like, this is my energy right now. I'm cool, and like,
Right.
this is how I'm feeling. And just the fact that a lot of people was able to respect that, and like, when I needed my space, give me my space. When I needed to be around people, like, and like really converse and be in the light of others, and also shine my light on a lot of things. Like, I wasn't pushed away. Like, yo, shut up, bro. Like, that ain't cool. Like, there's a lot of conversations I was able to have with a lot of people over the past year and a half, and they, like, I can genuinely tell they can see where I was coming from. So that's just the type of energy I love being around. So I appreciate all the people who support my music. I just dropped the first visual the other day, and I got a lot of good feedback for that. And I feel like the last song I dropped, like it is. Shout out to my boy K Live for producing that, Deshaun for shooting the first visual. It was really, that meant a lot to something like me. And like I was telling you earlier, like, it wasn't planned for Chris, the fact that what happened to Chris happened like a week after I dropped the song, it was like this needs to be heard. You feel me? And it's just like it's unfortunate that like we had to lose one of our homeboys to that. But it's like you said, now we just gotta live like it's our last. Like everything depends on it and live through have that person live through us and we live through that person. And that's the only thing I'm striving to do. So I just appreciate all the love and support I got so far and just know that there's some great things in store for like not only me but for the people who are like you feel me the city like Boston the world like it's really not only I really don't only have my lens focused on one place like it's focused on one place and it's opening up like as time goes on so like
Okay, that's dope, man. Well, where can people find you on social media?
social media all my handles are Dreco2Wavy that's Dreco number 2 Wavy WAVY. That's Twitter and IG. I do have a Facebook page that's getting fixed up now that I have like the summer and stuff in the school year. I was really learning more about the Facebook page, like how that works and how you can market on there. So I'm about to start running that more effectively. YouTube is Draco Reed. Again, that's DRECOREID. And then Snapchat, I post a lot of my music snippets on Snapchat too. So that's Roxbury Jersey, ROXBURYDRIZZY. So that's where they can find me everywhere at this point so far. I don't have like the Apple Music and all that stuff yet. SoundCloud is Unknown Wave. You just go on SoundCloud, you type in Unknown Wave, UNKNWAVE, and my page should pop up, or you can type in Draco, and that should pop up as well. But yeah, that's all we got so far, and like I'm trying to build the website soon so people can like have something to go to, and they can have everything from the music to news, keeping up with me, having like specific things linked to the website and all that. So like I'm really trying to get better with the marketing side of things. It's what I'm in school for. In these past few months, I've really just been brushing up, reading different books on them, watching different videos, really learning how to use these social media platforms for what they're really there for. You feel me? Like they add a new button to these social media sites every day,
Right.
a cool new little feature that can really make the biggest difference. So
Right.
that's all I'm on right now.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again.
Thank
It
you.
was an absolute pleasure.
Definitely, it was a pleasure to be jamming with the Jam Company. Definitely, like,
Right.
and this is only like the beginning of something much bigger. I hope that this is not only the first and last time we work. Like this,
Absolutely not.
it's gonna
Absolutely not.
create like a path towards like other people see this and get inspired. Like,
Yeah.
I just think we're in a space in life right now and in the world where it's just like I feel like a lot of inspiration can kill a lot of this negative things we feel like are around us. I feel like not to say a lot of this stuff is on our mind, but a lot of this stuff is like so small, but we give it so much light. So
Yeah.
that's why it's like, oh, we feel like it's there all the time. But like when you start to shine the light, like I was saying, which whirlpool is gonna be bigger? Is it gonna be the positive whirlpool or is it gonna be the negative whirlpool with a balance? Like you feel me? Like there's always a balance in everything. That's how I like to look at life. But like which one is gonna have the better impact?
Right.
So I feel like that's just how we gotta start moving and just staying wavy, keep jamming and going on with this life that we was given and actually doing something.
Thank you, sir.
No doubt. What's up? It's your boy Draco. Keep jamming.